How's it going, guys? Patrick from NintenTalk here, back with a brand new discussion video. And this one is actually another Patreon discussion video brought to you by Joey of this channel. What is up, dude? And thank you so much for the topic. Now, before I go into the topic, if you guys would like to join the Patreon, it is patreon.com/NintenTalk. Link is in the description. You can go to the page and kind of see all the rewards that come with being a Patreon. So let's get right into the topic. The topic today is entitled The Nintendo Trap. And really cool topic. Thank you again, Joey, for bringing this up to me. And basically, Joey wanted to know about kind of the new wave of Nintendo and how they're kind of making money, and if they're making money the correct way, quote unquote. So basically, the Nintendo Trap is kind of... It has to do with a bunch of things. It has to do, one, with underproducing products, underproducing kind of limited things, and then collector's editions. We've seen a lot already with the Samus 3DS. I wouldn't say the new 2DS XL is a collector's edition, but it's another iteration of something. And of course, we've seen the Sonic Mania collector's edition. We've seen the Mario Rabbids collector's edition. It just seems like they're just putting out any kind of collector's edition these days. So before I get into all of this, I just want to say that Nintendo is a business. And the point of any business, obviously, is to make money. Whether or not they're doing it the right way, I think that's the big debate here. And basically what I mean by that is Nintendo has been famous, at least, in more of the modern times, of kind of making some weird business decisions. And the most recent example I can think of is probably the NES and the SNES Classic Editions. Now, I've made an entire video all about that topic, so I'm not really going to go deep into it. In that video, I kind of explained their mindsets and why they are so hard to find. If you want to check out that video, I'm sure you can find it. But the fact... not even like what the NES and SNES classics are. The business strategy that Nintendo did, or lack thereof, essentially they put out products which I think these classic consoles are home runs. Like for a while, the plug-and-play consoles were kind of the big thing. You had Atari putting them out. You had some of these other, like there was SpongeBob ones, there was Batman ones. Literally, like that was the big thing like 5 or 6 years ago. So, this is nothing new, but for Nintendo it was. This was the first ever kind of plug-and-play system for Nintendo, so it was a big deal, and it wasn't like there were like throwaway games or like no-name games. Like these are big, big titles, and the NES Classic came out. We all know how that went, but it doesn't really make sense. Here you have a gold mine, and it ended up selling 1.5 million, which at first glance, you're like, okay, that's not too bad of a number. But in reality, that thing could have sold easily 20 million, 20 to 30 million. And that's probably the amount of people that actually wanted the thing. But we all know what happened. That thing you could not find it in the stores. If you did, you were pretty lucky. And a lot of people, including myself, had to end up buying them off of other people. I ended up getting 2, so I was kind of fortunate, but I did pay for them double, triple the price of what they were in the store, which kind of sucks. But like in that situation, that's the only way that I could get them. So it was either not get it or pay a scalper. So here you have the SNES coming along, and it's not out yet at the time of this video, but already we've had horrible pre-order disasters. Walmart, I wouldn't say too much Target and Best Buy because they just put up their pre-orders, but they put them up randomly at the middle of the night, and within an hour or so, they were gone. So if you guys remember, Nintendo said that they were going to produce more of these in store. That's the big thing, okay? So we don't really have the grand scope of how many SNES classics there are going to be, but Nintendo kind of told the consumers, okay, we are going to make more in-store. So when it comes out, hopefully on launch day, we can just walk into the store in a perfect world and pick one up. So the fact that they even underproduce those items, it's just a head scratcher. If I was Nintendo, I would still be making the NES classics. Like, why is there any kind of rush to put out the next generation? I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. So more, that's more of a recent story with underproducing things. Of course, we can go with the Switch that was nowhere to be found. But I still kind of back the idea that the Nintendo Switch was a soft launch product. Like this, they weren't going to release tens of millions at launch because of how poorly the Wii U did. I mean, certainly this is a different kind of system and it's marketed better. There are definitely better things about the Switch, but in my eyes, it was a soft launch. So we really can't look at the Switch in terms of this whole argument, but I thought I would at least mention it. If you go even further back, okay, you have, I think it pretty much all started with the Nintendo Wii. And if you remember, if you guys are even old enough to remember when that came out, like at launch, the Wii was next to impossible to get. And I remember it came out like around the holidays. And funny enough, my brother's girlfriend worked at Walmart at the time. And like my mom came up to me and she's like, Patrick, I don't think I'm going to be able to get you the Wii for this Christmas. And, of course I was upset. I was younger. And I guess someone like some grandpa, thank you grandpa, by the way, not my grandpa, but someone else's grandpa, bought like a Wii and his grandson or granddaughter didn't want it. Like, what a dick. But anyway, they returned it to Walmart. She was able to get me one. And I remember like I was like the only one in my friends group that was able to get a Wii. So, I mean, obviously predicting something like the Wii and how big of a hit that was, I don't really blame Nintendo so much. And, afterwards, after, a few months and stuff, it was easily accessible to get. But at first, dude, that was like the first time where people went absolutely nuts over a console and it was nowhere to be found. So I can remember product shortages as long ago as the Wii. If we're going to go back, or if we're going to go more to like what today is doing, you look at Amiibos. Amiibos are a perfect example of a product that should be readily available. And I don't know what it is, but I think that Nintendo doesn't want to seem like they have too much of these on the shelves where it kind of just, it makes it look less valuable. And a perfect example of this, if you guys go into GameStop right now, like go into any GameStop, you will see tons and tons of those Animal Crossing Amiibos. And those things, dude, are like, I've seen them at like Toys R Us for like $3 for $10. Like, dude, they are trying to get rid of those so bad. And I think that that's kind of the situation that Nintendo doesn't want to be in. So, Amiibos are toys. It's a toy product. Like, these could easily be made by the hundreds of thousands. And it's purposefully done so that whenever a new Amiibo is announced now, because we all know how hard they are to get. So whenever a new Amiibo is announced, say the new Metroid ones or the new Mario Odyssey ones, automatically in our minds, in the consumer's minds, we know that those Amiibos are going to be next to impossible to get. And that's a successful business strategy by Nintendo. So now we all rush to our computers, we all pre-order these things, and that's how we get them. So is there a need for Nintendo to kind of stock up stores with these? Because the people that want the Amiibos are going to pre-order them. Now that hurts the casual consumer, that hurts the casual gamer, which I think it's a big deal because the Switch and kind of more of the modern Nintendo games are easily accessible. Like, I feel like these could be even bigger hits if the store supply was much greater. So that's kind of my take on the underproducing of Nintendo products, and it is purposefully done. I mean, it is essentially the Nintendo trap, like this title is, because now we have this thing in our minds where we have to pre-order everything. We have to go crazy about every new thing that's announced because they're not going to stock them in stores. We know that there's going to be a limited amount, and if we don't act on it day one, day two, it comes out, we're not going to get it. So they are kind of trapping us into getting these things. I mean, we don't have to buy these things, but, you know, we love the company. We love the game, so of course we're going to get them. So that's the first kind of big thing about this whole topic. The next thing, and I really don't know how to feel about this, and it's the collector's editions. And it's kind of the special edition things that have been coming out more and more frequently. So the more recent one was the Mario Rabbids Collector's Edition. Now, I must say that the statue looks cool. Like, the game, I recently got it from GameStop, and I've been playing it. Why does that game need a collector's edition? Like, why does a Rabbids game, Rabbids, you know, guys, think of this. We haven't seen a Rabbids game since 2008. Why does a pretty much dead franchise need some kind of collector's editions? Collector's editions should be like reserved for long-standing franchises, Metroid, Mario, and there was one, and I want to mention this, that this was a perfect collector's edition, and it was the recent Sonic Mania Collector's Edition. I think Sega knocked this out of the park, and, you know, of course you didn't have to buy it. This game was digital, and it was kind of a letdown that this game wasn't, you know, released as a physical game. But essentially you had this giant Sonic statue on top of a replica Sega system, and then you got a replica cart with the artwork on it. It looks super cool. And then you can actually pull this like little compartment out, and there was this gold ring in there, which was totally awesome. And it included a digital download code. I thought that was very tasteful. It was something that I wanted to get, even though I'm not like the biggest Sonic fan. So I definitely think that modern collector's editions, you can still do it right. But I don't know, it just seems like Nintendo is just throwing out all these collector's editions to the point where the term collector's edition doesn't even carry as much value as it used to. You had the Samus new 3DS XL, which, like, why? I mean, Samus is a great character. You know, it's been around forever. But, like, why? It's 2017. Why are you releasing newer versions of the 3DS? It just makes no sense to me. Besides the fact that they're kind of underproducing products, which I talked about before, these collector's editions, like, I mean, we're still getting that kind of thing in our brains where, oh my God, I have to pre-order this, I have to get this. But now it's like kind of taking advantage of consumers, taking advantage of people in the community. I mean, you don't have to get these collector's editions. That's a big disclaimer with this whole thing. Like, you don't have to pre-order things. You don't have to buy things. But it's nice. It's nice that it's an option, but it's kind of, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. So that's what I have to say about it. What do you guys think, though? Do you think the Nintendo trap is for real? Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Like always, guys, this is Patrick from NintenTalk. Thank you so much, and have a great day.